recording, and I just want you guys to state your name and say, I agree or consent to the recording. That's all.
Okay. I'm Mariella Tufo and I agree to the recording.
I am Harshini and I consent to the recording.
I'm Francisco Figueroa. I consent to the recording.
I'm Lauren Adcock. I consent to the recording.
I'm Chase Garcia and I consent to the recording.
All right, thanks everyone. This is just for like legal reasons, so that's perfect. So as I was saying, let me just start over like from scratch, so I can exit out of this program. Is it okay if I close this?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so if you go and look on your desktop, the Gen 5 program is the one driving this instrument. So you'll just click on that. And then if you go and click on this button, this tells you everything about the reader setup. So what is currently installed in this instrument. So in case you swap out some filter cubes and you're not sure if your experiment is suitable for that or not, you can just come in here and see what is installed. And then I'll also just show you like how you can change some of the accessories if you need to in the future. So in the current setup you have the 1.25x, so you have like everything starting from 1x to 60x, so you have like a very good flexibility. So even if you do like whole organism, like whole, like zebrafish or something, you can do that with the 1x or 4x objective. And you can also get exposed like subcellular level imaging with the 60x. You also have in between 20x and 40x. So that's a very good setup. Basically, you have everything that we have to offer in terms of the objectives. In terms of the filter cubes, we do have a hardware-based autofocus cube that's called laser autofocus, and once we get into the training mode, I'll explain you what that does. But basically, all you need to know about that is going to make your imaging faster, more reliable, and also it's going to avoid photo bleaching in terms of like long-term kinetics. So I highly encourage you guys to use that if you're doing any longitudinal assays, or even if you're doing just like screening in like a 96 work rate, it's going to make your job much faster. So just to give you context, full 96 work rate, one image, one well, 96 first, it takes you 6 minutes in general to get like that whole well plate scan with the regular mode, and with the laser autofocus it takes 3.5 minutes.
Sorry, what was the first estimate?
Six versus 3.5. Yeah, so it almost cuts it down in half. And then you have the DAPI for blues, GFP for greens, and then the Texas for the reds. It's very easy when you are just starting up the microscopy, because I faced the same challenge when I was a grad student. I had the citation file also, and I would try to image something that was red, but I don't know like what citation emission spectra that had, and then I was trying to image it with Texas red, and it didn't somehow work. I needed the RFP cube, and vice versa. You might be working with like a different fluorophore. So filter cubes are designed so that everything is constricted and doesn't overlap with each other. So if you ever are curious, like in terms of the fluorophores that you're using, which filter cubes is more susceptible and usable, you can actually reference to one of the documents. And I'm going to load up everything on your desktop before I leave. But just to show you where those exist, you go to System, and then you go to Document Library. So if you go to System and Document Library, it basically has a lot of resources, and one of that is just for the filter cubes. Let me see. So it says Imaging Cube Selection Guide. And then if you go there, it basically pops up all the options and all the dyes and fluorophores that you can use with that. So you see there's a DAPI cube, there's a GFP cube, there's an RFP cube that I was mentioning about, there's also Texas Red, there's also Sci-Fi and Sci-7. So you have a lot of different options. So in case you're going to be like, first instance, you're going to set up a lot of new experiments, and if you work with some different fluorophore, you can just try to match what you have existing setup and maybe see if that works for you. If not, then you can also just email me, and I can also give you some recommendations like what the good setup is.
Do you have an idea how much another filter cube costs?
I that's was your question.
Just rough ball.
I don't want to lie in the recording, so I would just refrain from it. It's less than 5K for sure, like the full setup. But again, like I don't know the exact current price.
That's fine. I just know there's some interest in the lab and perhaps another filter cube.
Yeah.
I just have no idea. So.
Yeah. So that's a good question also for Lucio. And then you also have like a lot of different accessories available for this instrument. So in case you are wondering, like, you know, if you wanted to test out a new object or something, Rocio, like the sensor is also pretty good in terms of loaning you some accessories. So there's also like a new 4X APO that's much superior compared to what you have. So in case, you know, there are some needs or like some restrictions in terms of the current setup, you can reach out to me and then I can maybe suggest some other recommendations. You know, if that can be resolved by one of the accessories, then if she has it in stock, she would also be happy to loan that to you. So yeah.
So, sorry, what did they call me?
Yeah, so there are like two versions. If you look into this document, we have like 4 different 4X objectives. There is one which is plan fluoride. This is, you know, most common objective that every lab has. But there's also a plan APO objective, which is not, where is that? 4X plan APO. Yes, 4X plan apochromat. So if you just look at the numerical aperture, it's a little bit different, like 0.13 versus 0.16, but when you compare it in like percentage, it's much like significantly different. You know, where this comes and shines through is if you have a setup that is using like a high contrast bright field for like label-free cell counting applications, you're going to see a lot of meniscus effect in the current 4X. So there are also some existing plans in our team, like just to state some internal things happening. We also might release one of the plates that will basically supplement that artifact. But for now, there's also this 4X APO objective that you can use to basically resolve that. So yeah, there are like a lot of suggestions. You know, if you just reach out to me, if you're like stuck in some point, just let me know. I can help you with that. Yeah. I'm just gonna open up the instrument so you guys can see what are the internal components. So I'm gonna close out this. There's just 2 buttons on the front side in case someone is wondering which one does what. This is on and off switch. I do encourage you guys to just turn it off at least 3 weeks or so, or like every month or so at least. So you can leave it open. It's a green instrument, so it's not going to use up a lot of power when it's not being used. But just to reset everything, you know, all the settings, it's just nice for you guys to restart it every month or so. This is for the plate carrier in and out, so you can load up the plates here. This is the side door, you know, that you may or may not have looked at so far. If you look here, there are a lot of different cubes. So the setup that you have is basically this one, right? So that had the laser autofocus, then the blues, greens, and reds. So these are the filter cubes for that. If you look at the bottom part, that's the LED, so that's where the light comes from. And then it goes to the filter, which sits on top, and then it goes to the objective, to the plate, and then back to the plate, to the objective, to the filter, and then to the camera, which sits here. So that's how the microscope is performed. It's always inverted. The nature of this is always inverted. So if you're trying to do something upright, like a conventional microscope, this is not going to be susceptible for that. And for bright field, the light comes in from the top. So, you know, here for fluorescence, the light goes from the bottom. For bright field, the light shines from top. So for example, if you have something like this, aluminum foil or something, you're not going to be able to image bright field, but you still can do fluorescence imaging with that. Right? And here we have the objectives.
Does that mean the phase is from the top too? Or is
So the phase annulus is from the top, the light also comes from the top. Great question. So let me just remove one of the objectives. Are you guys aware about the correction collar?
I was the one around provisional training, but I wasn't remember too well. So.
Yeah. I can go through that. Okay. So this is a 20x objective, and because I've used this like a million times, I can do it without gloves, but when you do it, absolutely wear gloves. This is the objective 20x, and as you can see, there are like certain numbers here, right? So it says 0.1712. What does that stand for? It's basically the plate thickness. So if you're using a film bottom plate, such as what you're using, then it would have a bottom thickness that's different compared to like a tissue culture plate that's not really designed for imaging. So the plate thickness, the thinner that thickness is, better it is for optical clearance, and less restriction it has, and the image quality is going to be superior. You don't always need that, right? So that's how this is designed to basically give you that flexibility But a lot of times it also uses in frustration because you don't know exactly, why my images are blurry or out of focus. So always remember if you're doing imaging at 20x, 40x or 60x. You have to reset this correction color to the bottom thickness of your plate. And I can also show you like how you can do that when the instrument is turned on, so you don't need to turn it off like what I just did. Basically what you're trying to do is just match this indent with one of these numbers. So most of the times your plate, like film bottom plates, would have a correction color set to 0.17 because that is the thickness in millimeters, 0.17 millimeters.
So that correlates to millimeters?
Millimeters, yeah. And then if you go to tissue culture plates, those could be like 0.5, which is this thick, or it could be like 1. Sometimes if you have like a thick 6-wall plate, then a 6-wall plate, then it could also be like 2 millimeters thick.
Okay.
So you have to basically reset it according to the plate type.
So for the, I know in the software itself, you can obviously move through Z-planes.
Yeah.
So that's, even though you can do that, you still need to adjust that.
Yes, so if you are using a 6-well plate and your correction color is set at 0.17, you try to autofocus, it's just not going to work, irrespectively of how close you get.
But if you manual focus or
It's still going to be
Okay.
blurry. It's just designed in a way so this whole like, long story short, you have to basically set it according to the plate thickness. Otherwise you're not going to get optical, like the best quality images. You can get away with that, if it's just quality to study, who cares, right? And you can save that hassle, but it's not really that difficult. I can show that to you guys in a second. Right, so I want you guys to just first wear gloves and then set this correction color to 1 so that I know how, if you need some help with that, I can help you out with that. And this only applies when you do imaging at 20, 40 or 60x. Everything else doesn't apply. Lower maximum.
40.
40, okay. So
So the slide is 0.17 because you do slides.
My 17 is the slide.
Yeah.
what was it set at? Just curious.
Sorry?
What was that
Yeah,
one
what
set
was
at?
it set at?
What
It
set
was
at?
0.17. You want to start first? So just set it to maybe 1. And this is the rigid portion is the one that goes.
You guys have like a key online that tells us what to set it at?
Absolutely. I'm gonna load up, while you guys doing that, let me just load up the resources.
So I switch a lot
The
between
laser, I
4x
think,
and
should
40.
not be fast.
You can choose also the intermediate one, or it's just
You can. You can. Absolutely.
How do you know where to set it?
Yeah, a lot of times I can tell why. There's like
see
a,
the wire
there'll be
going
like
down
a,
here.
There's always some count, and then-
sometimes there's like a.
So for the 96 well plate that we're using, you said 1.
So it depends. If it's imaging quality plate, then it could be either 0.17 or 0.5.
Oh,
So we need to actually, look at into the manufacturer's website, because even if most of the imaging plates are 0.17, some Corning plates especially are 0.5.
Okay.
So you have to know that.
So
And you can just go on the website and find that.
Yeah.
So this is also the manual which talks about that a little bit. The glass bottom or cover slip thickness 0.17, and then plastics it varies a lot. Okay.
That's great. Just stick it up.
Got it? Alright, you wanna try it? This is the connection color. So this is the indent we basically try to match with the color.
So for this plate, you said it's either 0.17 or 0.5.
Yeah, depends on the manufacturer.
Everything images at 0.17. So
Where's the most common?
Yeah, so in plastic microplate, 96. 0.5.
Imaging color sheet.
Yeah, it's like now you know how to do it.
how would you take it out of?
Yeah, I didn't see you take it out.
I'm gonna show that to you guys. So you don't really need to take it out. There's actually a hack for that, so I'm gonna show that. Yeah. because you don't really want to waste like 5 minutes just
Yeah.
opening up the instrument and stuff.
You're
Now that you
taking
learned
it
my
out.
calculator for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The old college trick.
So our manual is going to recommend that you open up the instrument like this, but you can get away without it.
Oh, you can change it without opening
Yeah.
it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So just before we do that, let me just turn this on. There are some resources I've loaded up on your desktop. So I think this is connected to the internet. You can see changing the correction color. There's like a 12-minute tutorial on how you can do that and what bottom thicknesses match.
Or
This is
the
actually
10x,
our, what's his
small
name?
X at the top right of the window.
So he used to be an
Then we're going to go
actor,
up and we're going to click on the system drop-down access, which side inverted, so that the catalog numbers are now typically have a thickness of around 1,000 microns. Some can have thicknesses closer to 2,000 micron. So to line up the correction collar and to make the appropriate changes, we have to remember that you have to divide the typical thickness of what's reported for your material by 1,000. So if we are imaging through a cover slip, again, 170 micron thickness, divide that by 1,000, and you have the 0.17, which is what you're seeing right now in the correction collar. So if I wanted to make sure that I had the correction collar properly set, to image a sample through a cover slip or anything with 170 micron thickness, I would line up the 0.17, and then you can see there's a hash mark right below the 0.17. I would line that up with the bottom hash mark, and let me just show you what I would do. So if I was over here, I would rotate that into place. So again, now we can easily see that the 0.17, the hash mark that's below it, lines up with the bottom hash mark that doesn't move. Now, let's say we were, again, imaging through a non-imaging quality 96 well plates. Again, that has a bottom thickness of 500 micron. So what I would do there is I would rotate my correction collar to this position that is in between the 0.17 and the 1. You can see there's no number there. So you just have to remember that that is the setting for 500 micron or 0.5 millimeters. So we line up those two hash marks. And then finally, if I'm going to image through a low density microplate with a very thick bottom, I line up the 1, as you can see here, with the bottom hash mark. So that would again be the setting for working with 1,000 micron thick bottom. So again, that's what we would do to make the appropriate changes. Once you remove the objective, you rotate the correction collar to be in line. Here I'm going to line up again the 0.17. And once that is completed, then you are ready to place the objective back into the instrument. Once we've made the appropriate change to the correction collar, we can now reinsert the objective back into the instrument. So basically, we're going to be doing the exact opposite of what we just did to remove the objective. So I'm going to reach in with the objective and seed the objective back into the objective holder for position 4. And I'm going to turn the objective to the right or clockwise. The objective should turn very smoothly if it is properly threaded. If you feel resistance or it's turning very roughly, just rotate the objective back counterclockwise to unthread it and then start the threading process again. It's a very fine thread, so you'll find that you have to turn the objective multiple times to have it firmly back into
And
place.
then just
When
a
it
few
is
last housekeeping
fully
items, and then we can
threaded,
start,
you
with
should
our
it should seat snugly against
We're gonna
the
open up the
objective
software, and it's going to load
holder.
up this
You don't have to
task
turn it really hard, but it should
So in this
be
task measure, mainly
it should
we're
be
gonna use
snug
three
against the
options.
holder, and you should
first
feel
one is the
no
manual
gap
mode.
between the
The
widest part
second
of
one
the
is
objective
experiment,
and
third one is
the
protocol.
objective
So, what
holder.
are these options?
Once that's done,
So the manual
then
mode actually
I'm going
allows
to
you
close the door,
look inside the web plate. You have, objectives
and
like
that marks the end
configuration
of the
on
correction
the
color
CPU,
change procedure.
You can also set up
Thank you very much
each
for
object,
watching
and
this
then you can
imaging
also
training
select
video.
some overlay images. So if you want to do like 4-channel imaging, you can also do that in the imaging manual mode. You can also do Z-stacks, you can also do montages. So you basically can do everything that you can do in the experiment mode, but that's going to be limited to one well only. Once you collect that data, you can also process the data, analyze the data all within the manual mode. So you can do everything that you need. In the manual mode, just know that it's going to be limited to one well only. And then you click a button that will repeat everything in the whole plate, and that becomes an experiment. So that's the difference between the manual mode and the experiment. Manual mode will do everything the experiment will do, but only limited to one well, and this will do it in 96 wells or however many wells you want to select. The protocol is basically a recipe or like a script of steps, right? So protocol is everything the experiment is, but without the data. So for example, we ran one assay today, and we're going to run a new plate tomorrow with the same setup. You use the same protocol for the next experiment, right? So you can use one protocol for multiple different experiments. Clear? Right. The extensions for everything, the IMM stands for Imager Manual Mode. So that's just like a IMM. The experiment is XPT, that stands for experiment, and PRT files are for protocol. And once we look into those files, maybe I can show that to you right now. It also says in the file type and file protocol. So if you are trying to find some experiment but accidentally you are opening a protocol, this is how you find it out. Just look at the file type. And then I think you guys already know this, but you also have the incubate function. So you can actually heat it up to 37 degrees. A cool thing about that is you also have a gradient. So if I set my gradient to 2 degrees, what this will do is actually it will heat up the bottom probe at 36 and the top probe at 38. So there's actually an even flow of heat. So that takes rid of like a lot of condensation artifacts because we take the plate from the incubator, we leave it at a cold room at 20 degrees C, you're gonna start fogging up the lid, right? So I still recommend you defog the lid before plating putting the plate in especially for bright field assays because it's gonna be on the top of the lid. But then the gradient is gonna take care of the rest of the part. So it's really helpful.
Would you always recommend to keep it in 2C?
Yeah, if you are using 37, then always use it. Yeah. All right, and there are like some protocols here which don't really relate to what you guys don't do like wound healing experiments, like scratch wound experiments, right?
No, but you were showing something from that. I'm interested in kinetic
Okay.
experiments.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk you through that for sure. And also, this video has really good explanation of like different kinetic options we have. So basically we have like two different kinetic options. One which will basically force you to keep the plate within the instrument for the entirety of the time, right? So for example, you're doing like some fast kinetics like calcium flux.
Welcome to Biotech's video training series. My name is Brittany Fippen, and I'm a field applications scientist with Biotech, now a part of Agilent. Today, we will be discussing how to set up both continuous and discontinuous kinetic experiments using Gen 5. By the end of the training, you should be able to understand the differences between continuous and discontinuous kinetics, decide which type of kinetics fit your assay needs and instrument configuration, add continuous and discontinuous kinetics to an existing imaging protocol, and add temperature settings to your kinetic experiments. But first, let's discuss when you might want to use kinetics in your workflow. Kinetic experiments can capture repeated images.
Any questions so far? No? Okay, so shall we start with some acquisition then? Okay. So I have this plate. If you guys want to keep it, I can leave it here. This is basically something I was expecting to see, but it didn't really have that. So I can leave this plate for you guys if you want, just for practice reasons. And we're just going to use this for now for acquiring some data.
So why you put the foil on top?
This just to prolong its life. So I have some
Oh,
plates that are
okay.
like 2 years old that are still going strong because we don't bleach it.
Oh, okay.
And also just to protect the liquid from coming out because I travel with it like, across the country.
That's just we were saying too about the light. We want to put that inside the machine as soon as we get out of the incubator. Because we don't want it to-
For the bleaching.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Some fluorophores are really sensitive, so if you expose it with light, then it's not, you're not gonna see it. Yeah, so as I was saying, everything manual. I recommend you guys to start with the manual mode since a lot of you are gonna be setting up your first experiments, right? So you can go to the capture now option. And then this will allow you to select, the primary selection path. And you can absolutely change everything afterwards. But, you can start off, what object you want to start with. So let's use the 4x objective for now.
One question just on the
yeah.
nomenclature really quick. I assume the FL means fluorescent.
Plan fluoro objective.
Okay. So what does the PL stand?
Plan. It's just like a short form of how this objective is like named. So it's like the full name is like plan fluorescence, plan fluorescence. So then like there's achromat and there's plan fluoro and then there's apochromat. Achromat is the worst in terms of the performance. The plan fluoro is a good middle ground. So it's a very good in terms of the optics, but it's also affordable. It's not like the highest quality. And the apochromat is going to be the highest quality, but it's also more expensive.
I thought I saw, did it not say APO for the 1.4 we had?
Yeah. So one X objective is only the APO because you need. I mean, there's barely good resolution coming through it. So the only objective we have for 1x is the.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
And that's just a wider aperture, basically.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. So the numerical aperture.
So you can get the same wider aperture of the other objectives if you want.
Yeah. So for now we only have that option for the 4x right now.
Got it.
The C10 on the other hand has some other options, and it's a different story, so let's not go there for now. But yeah, I mean, for the citation file, you do have the 4x objective. There's also 2x APO in case the 1x is very bad resolution, but you want something between 1 and 4x. Then we also have a 2x objective. All right. And in the vessel type, then you can select what vessel that you're gonna use. Right now, we are at 12 well. So this is a 96 well plate, and then I can select my plate from here. So this is an Agilent 96 full bottom plate, so I'm going to select that. And then this slow carrier speed option is really great if you have some suspension cells or some organoids, some spheroids, anything that's moving within the plate. If the cells are already fixed and adhered to the plate, then you don't really need to use that. So even for adherent assays, if you're just doing like simple assays, you don't really need that.
So is this the moment that we go in and change the objective?
So this is not the only moment where you can do it, but yeah, this is like one of the modes which will like start off anything with the 4x and then you can switch it if you want.
Before you get over there?
Yeah, so if you want to start off with like the 20x, for example, you can do that from here.
I think what he was meaning is the regulation of the objective.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to show that to you. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so let's go back to the instrument setup. So if you remember, this was the button we used to configure that instrument, right? So my trick for that is if you hit access for any of the objectives, how this is designed is this is going to load up that objective on the top panel, and the bottom one would be the objective next to it. So for example, if you hit access, for example, for like number 3, maybe it was already set to number 3. So now you hear the noise. So now the objective number 4 should be on the top. You also should be able to see that written up right
Yeah, the
on the turret.
Yeah.
4 and 5. So the 5 would be sitting at the bottom. So now if you want to switch the correction color for the 60x, it's actually easier to access one objective above that. So just what we did, now we can actually configure the 5x within the instrument. And you can, if you look closely, you see some options right there, like 1.6, 1.8, right? But it's not really 0.17, right? So you can just loosen this up like one round. So I'm just going to unthread it just for like one small circle, like half a circle, until I see those values here, right? And now you see the 0.17.
Yeah.
You also see the indentations. So now you can just hold the objective from one of the hands, like one of the thumbs and fingers, and with the other one you can just shift the correction. It's pretty easy actually. Let me do that for you first.
I
And if
see.
you want
So
to
the
attempt
60x
that,
is the one that's accessible right now.
yeah, 60x is accessible because I've hit the 40.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So all you have to do is now, you just hold up the objective using one of the hands. So I don't know if you can see it, it's very tight in there. But I'm just going to hold up like the top portion from my left thumb like this. And then you can just play with the correction color. So you can just hold up onto that and then change the correction color like that. I can actually do it with one hand because I've done it like 1,000 times, but probably you won't be. So you can also use like your second hand if you need to. You guys want to try that out?
Sure.
Sure.
So we are changing the correction of the colors now. So it's not the first one that you showed us.
Yeah, that's the 60x now. So you just need to remember which objective did you hit access on. And the next to it, like one next to it, would be sitting at the bottom of it.
But what's the need of changing those?
If you are using a different vessel type, that's the only way. Like that's the only reason
Oh,
why.
so
you-
those are for all.
Yeah.
Every time we change like from a 96 to a glass bottom, I don't know.
So most likely not, because the plate you have, I can double check the specs for this, but I think it's
It's like 330.
Sorry,
It's like 330 microns.
330. You checked it? Okay, nice. So you might get like a better quality if you set it to like 330, but it still should be okay. It's not gonna be completely out of focus.
Okay.
But now your colleague wants to use like a 6 well plate, right, with the same option. Then you need to change that.
Okay.
So
So we need to
for
change
a-
all of them.
No, just the
Just the
one
one
you
I
want to
use.
use. That's it.
Okay.
And then I for like a big lab like yours, I always recommend to just keep like a logbook or something, or something that's documenting like what's the correction color value right now. So if someone changes that, they can just log that. Since it's going to prevent a lot of confusion in the long run.
Is it visible from the computer?
It's not.
The correction.
It's not.
Okay.
So the person who changes that would know
They-
what's the
yeah.
correction color.
So basically, if you want to change the correction color, if you're using 40x and now change correction color for that, so you hit access on 20x.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, so narrow here.
And it's only 20, 40, and 60 and a half.
Exactly, 3 objectives. Yeah. And most likely you're going to be only using one at a time, right? So if you use 40, then just change that 40x. I've even done this in like demos when I first joined the company because
Okay.
I accidentally forget to change the correction color value and then images are out of and then
That's
like something is wrong. Yeah, so if the images are blurry with high objectives, most likely the correction.
So
Yeah, I think I
right?
did actually run into that with 20x. I didn't stick with the 20x.
You need to
I
see
just-
the white
Quite
stuff.
necessary.
There are like 2 rings.
if I
Wait, what?
Yeah.
There are 2 rings. They're moving.
Yeah. I can help you with
Yeah.
that. So if you hold the top part, can you see this? Like the top section where my finger is?
Yep. Yeah.
That's gonna basically keep the objective confined, so it's not gonna rotate it. If you turn it, then the whole object is gonna, we don't want that. So you
Yeah.
just hold it and then you look at the correction color and you can actually just change it with one of your thumbs, or you can also use your second like right hand thumb to change that.
So just.
Once you get it, it's very convenient and easy, but for the first couple of times, it's going to be difficult.
I don't know if I'm getting it right, but.
Okay, what value do you think it is set at now? I can check it for
If
you.
it's one,
So
you
it
can
seems
change.
like it's. I just don't see this small line that indicates which value.
Let me
is
see if that's visible or not. Yeah, it's not because it's set to 1, you see? It's right next to 1. It's on the right side of one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Oh,
have to
yeah,
put
yeah, I
exact
see it now.
tick marks, or if I say you have
A
something.
little bit is fine.
Sorry.
A little bit is fine. So I mean, if it's set at like 0.19 versus sentence on the
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, if whatever you're using, the thickness doesn't correlate very nicely in terms of being like in the middle of whatever micron value.
should be okay. I mean, you still should be able to get some.
Yeah.
You got it? A little bit? It's fine. And you know, this instrument is pretty robust. You're not gonna break it. So once I leave, you know, you can also just play with that and practice that because and if you for some reason think that you made a mistake and you heard some noise, just turn off the instrument and turn it back on again. Just don't forget to thread it in completely because if the instrument is if the object is like hanging in the air, then it might collide.
How do you do
So you have to either take it out or put it.
I know, I am begins too. You just hold the first one up here,
Okay.
right? See, this is a big screw that move everything. So you want to hold this one
Yeah.
and just, I mean, I did it before.
That's very critical for everyone to know.
See?
We thought
You want to
about,
move
like,
this one, it's a
automating that
scraped
some
one.
instruments cannot.
You hold this,
Yeah.
and with a finger you move the scraped one.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's kind of,
If you want to automate that, it's gonna be like $10,000.
yeah.
It's not.
It's hard.
It's gonna
But
be.
there's always the option to remove it, take
You
it
can
out.
always remove it.
That's it.
Yeah. If that's the easiest way for you,
Easier
go for it.
solution's not easy.
I think I got it.
Just don't touch the glass on either end.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
It always works. It's probably what I was thinking these two.
Yeah. Whatever works.
Yeah, if you have big hands, it's almost impossible.
I know. And you know, maybe
you-
I think
you have done
it's
it?
easy because I've
I've
done
done
it
it
like a
now.
million times.
Yeah.
But some folks it's not.
So I just.
You need time,
And do you guys know what this is? This is the anti-vibration
Oh,
cable.
I see.
So this actually
Oh.
prevents any shocks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
During and everything.
Oh,
I was wondering about that.
Oh,
I was
God,
like,
touching.
no, the anti-vibration table for the machine. I didn't realize that was
I can check it for you if it's past its due date or not.
Okay,
There's
yeah.
like an indicator. I'll
Oh,
show
okay,
that,
that
yeah.
would be great, thank you. I think we got the machine 2020. Sounds all right.
Are you gonna go through the other compartments that you get open?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much going on here. So there is just like the phase rings sit on the top section. So right now it says 2. There are like 4 different phase rings that just sit there. I can show that. But this is not something you would actually change.
I see.
I
So if I wanted to add
you did it?
No, I can't.
calcium in it, if I wanted to add something.
You have, we
Okay,
have injector
I
options
don't have the
too.
gloves now, but
So if
see
you
the
are,
scraped
you know,
ring
trying
on top?
to
Hold
Like
that.
this?
something and
Yeah,
Yeah,
hold
hold
this.
that and move
image at
the
same time.
second one. the
So-
scraped.
and move right
Yeah.
here.
This
Yeah.
section. And
Try
those
two
are like
times.
add-ons, so you can always get
I
it out
couldn't
of
get
this
my
one.
hands in
This is
there.
what you guys have. So you can
I got
always
smaller
get it
hands, you
afterwards.
should.
Yeah, but then I can't
Also,
see
dual
anything.
injector, so you
I wanna
can
see
have
if I can,
two
like-
reagents at the same, like one after the other.
Or
And the
try to
lifetime
hold
is
the,
about,
the
two-
top
two
ring
and a
with
half
your
seconds.
2
So
fingers
once
and
it
move with the
injects, it's gonna run,
medium one.
like imaging in 2 4
I just
Do you need some help? I can help you with that if you need.
Oh, I guess I can do it. I can't move it and see it at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, you
So
have
I'd have
to.
to just blindly move it.
Yeah, you have to blindly move it and then look at it and then come back.
Okay, so I wanted
So I wouldn't be able to just open it, add my calcium.
You can.
close
You can.
it.
You can.
Okay, I'll put it.
I can, and then it'll find the exact spot.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I mean,
You got it?
if you
Yeah, I
were there
can-
at the
I
first
can
place to
see.
begin with, right?
I can make a.
So if you are in the manual mode,
Yeah.
I can walk you through that.
How
But
do you
basically,
change that?
oh, how do you take it out?
Yeah.
So first of all, you would have to basically thread it in completely, right? So it is already threaded perfectly,
Oh,
so
well.
that's good.
I was doing the bottom ones. And
Yeah.
It's not
Did
threaded
I?
probably.
Okay. So now it's threaded
Threaded in.
completely. And if you want to take the 40x out, you can access. And it's gonna move it to the. Okay, we were playing with the 60, right?
Yeah,
So
we were
let's
playing
hit
with the
access.
60. Okay.
And then you just take it out. It's just counterclockwise,
Okay, you can just spin it and take it.
just like any other microscope. Yeah.
Cool. We have to hit access.
you screw it out.
Well, I guess you hit access to make it at the right
If
point.
you want to remove it, then hit access for the same objective. So that way it's on the top. It's designed in a way so that if you drop it, it's not gonna break the object. It's like, yeah, expensive.
Yeah,
objective,
it's
for
not
sure.
something you wanna
Yeah,
drop.
put it back. Yes, sir? Yeah, first change it to 0.17 and then you can put it back.
I think that's how I'm gonna end up changing it.
Yeah.
Taking it out.
Yeah, it's not it's perfect way to do it. Yeah.
So the phase rings, so those adjust automatically, I assume, for the objective? Okay.
And if you're just like turning it couple cycles and you think it's fit, then it's not perfect. It would actually thread in for like 10, 15-ish cycles. And it's like lefty loosey, righty tighty, you know. So if you think that's like misthreaded or like not threaded perfectly, you just take it out a little bit and put it back in.
It just keeps spinning. I don't know.
Yeah, right. It keeps spinning.
Yeah, if it keeps fitting, then it's good. Yeah, you were almost there.
Alright.
It's just one more
A
cycle.
lot of times.
It was just one more cycle left.
Yeah.
Does anyone else want to take it out? Try it out?
I think I will.
Sure.
Yeah, you should try.
So hit access.
Yeah, so for whatever object you want to change the
60.
color to, so we already changed this for the 60, let's do 40 for now.
Oh, I see.
So it's not gonna turn on audio, but we have the audio recording, of course, the screen being recorded too.
Yeah.
right?
Counterclockwise.
Yep, counterclockwise.
This is a lot of turning. Oh, I got it. I might have to do this.
So let's set it to 0.17, just for the purpose of this training.
But I did.
Okay. Oh, your bottom thickness is 330 microns, right? You're gonna set it to that then for your plates, or you're gonna set it for a slide?
Yeah, it's only to.
This is the 40x. So.
Oh, okay, we only need the 40.
Yeah, so maybe we
The
set it to
20.
0.17.
Okay.
For the 20, someone else can set it to 0.33. It's gonna be like 10, 15 cycles. So if it's going on, you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
Count down.
And then hand tighten is like good.
Got it.
You don't put excessive force on it. Let me just double check. Perfect. All right. So who wants to do the honors for the 20x?
I can do it.
All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead and click access for 20x. And then you can remove it.
So it's the number 3.
Yeah.
That's
the
the
lowest
time.
And then during lunchtime or something, when we review if the audio is fine or choppy, then you can double check that and let me know. Because I think we lost everything like last time, the audio was not
Oh, that's
fine.
right.
How much you want to say?
0.33, so in between 0.5 and 0.17. So you see this is 0.17, right? This is 1, so this makes it 0.5. So you want it in between.
Like
Yeah, that's
here?
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. And a little bit off is, not a problem. So 0.33, 0.17, it's gonna be fine either way. But if you have like 1, then it's gonna make a huge difference. 1 from 0.17.
It's gonna give an error if it's not screwed correctly.
It's gonna give you error like in terms of the noise. It's gonna make some noises.
It's gonna take a little bump into something that we don't
Yeah,
want to
and
bump
then you
into.
just if that happens, that's completely fine. Just turn it off, take out the objective, and rethread it. It's not gonna break it.
Okay.
But try to avoid that if possible.
Yeah. No, I was just like.
Right, perfect. Got it. Nice. Right. Any other questions about the correction color? I think we tackled that pretty well, so that's great. All right, awesome. So we can now go back to the manual mode.
So do this before manual mode.
Yeah, do this before you image, absolutely. So I'm gonna stop this recording since this was more like the hardware training.